What up, YouTube, and welcome back to another installment of Asked Told by Brittany D. And of course, I am Brittany D, and today I am back with a story time video / lock tutorial. I'm going to tell you guys about the time my children contracted lice in their locks from school and how I got rid of them without having to cut their locks. So if you ever find yourself in this predicament, just know there are options. So let's jump into it. So all of this took place summer 2023. It's like 2 weeks into summer vacation. And around summertime, I usually allow my kids' locks to be more freeform. You know, it's summertime, you're more laid back. You let your kids be a little bit more free around the summertime. But I had realized that it has been 3 weeks since the last time I had oiled their hair. So I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go ahead and do that after I finish running these errands. Oh, keep in mind, I was out and about when I discovered my kids had lice. And the way I found out is when my daughter got out the car, I had noticed that there was a bug in her hair. And at first glance, I wasn't tripping because it's not uncommon to find little bugs in your hair when you have locks. Not many bugs, but you know, sometimes they might be a little gnat that might fly in your hair, but it's never anything you should get worked up over. However, that wasn't our case. When I looked into my daughter's hair, I noticed that there were several little bugs that I have never seen before. But after doing some research, I found out it was lice. And they were at different stages. There were eggs, babies, and adult lice in her locks. And when I realized that, that's when panic started to set in because I'm like, dang, I'm gonna have to cut my daughter's locks. Because there's barely any information about how to treat locks with lice. Everybody's solution is to cut them off. And that just wasn't an option. So I had to calm myself down and think to myself like, dang, what would Jesus do? And I fortunately came across a blog that spoke about solutions you can use to help remove lice from your locks. And I really wish I remember the name of that blog. But at that time, I wasn't thinking about anything besides getting rid of these locks. Like, I don't even have pictures to even prove what I'm saying. All I have is this text message that I sent to my son's best friend's mom to let her know the situation. But anyway, the blog has suggested that we do 3 main things. One being if the locks are long enough to boil them because lice cannot survive under high temperatures. 2, pick up a lice treatment from your local CVS and follow the directions because that's going to help with any lice eggs in your new growth. But keep in mind, you will not be able to remove the eggs. Traditionally, when people have lice, they are able to use that comb to remove all of the lice eggs, but unfortunately, because you have locks, that will not be the case. You can only simply push it up into the locks. But if they are dead, it won't matter. So I strongly suggest holding off on retwisting just to make sure all those little critters are gone, and do not worry about them infesting the inside of your locks. Lice cannot do that. They actually like to be closer to the scalp because they drink blood, and I ain't know that. And lastly, lots of oil. I had learned that lice cannot stand tea tree oil. It actually suffocates them. So I did a mixture of olive oil and tea tree oil. And for the next 2 weeks, we were on a strict routine. So every day for 2 weeks, I had to oil their hair every morning and every night with the tea tree and olive oil mix. I would also cover their hair with a plastic cap. That way I was cutting off the fresh air to the lice because they need fresh blood and air to survive, and using oil and a plastic cap kind of cuts all that out. But for 2 weeks straight, I would oil and cover their hair, and each time I did it, I was happy to find no living lice, so that was a good sign. And by the 3rd week, I didn't find any new evidence of living lice. And by the end of the month, it was safe to say they weren't coming back, okay? Because in reality, the lifespan of lice isn't long and they reproduce really fast. So that's one of many things that I learned about lice during this whole experience. And I'm happy that I caught it kind of early because I had just checked their hair and there was no evidence of that. So that proves how fast lice can reproduce. It's just like boom. But anyway, as of today, they are lice free and we ain't going back to the struggle, okay? But that's pretty much it for me. Until next time, until we meet again, until we're back on YouTube, watch another crazy video of mine. Bye bye.